Brandon, fourth Auburn spring practice. We saw quite a bit today in what will be actually our last observation period before spring break. Auburn's got one more practice. We got to see a little bit more. We got to see him in pads, got to see some more personnel groups. I think some fans overreact, though, a little bit to some of the things that we see. Even some of us can be guilty of that at times. John Franklin III, the third-string quarterback in the initial periods of practice. Some fans already questioning us about that. I know both of us walked away far less really enthralled with a lot of the developments you saw personnel-wise, but to fans, that can be certainly a big deal even this early.
Yeah, listen, it's the fourth day of spring practice. It's not even preseason camp, and John Franklin III, this is only his fourth practice, his second with a shoulder pads on. So every quarterback, every player that comes in here has to work their way up the depth chart. And to say John Franklin III is even SEC quality as a starter right now would be ludicrous, considering that he has no experience right now with this offense in practices for a long period of time. So we'll see on A-Day, April 9th, exactly how he plays. He might still be the third-team quarterback then. I would not be surprised to see him work with third-team offense in the A-Day game and then mixing in with some of the backups. But listen, looking at these players and where they're lining up during the spring practice, especially the first 2 weeks, don't read a lot into it. John Franklin III, like a lot of these guys, have to work their way up the depth chart. As it stands now, it's Jeremy Johnson, the first team, and Sean White, the second team. And we were able to watch 2 periods of practice today after their stretch and warm-ups, which is, I think, maybe only the second time in the Gus Malzahn era we've had that happen. And we got to watch a little bit of their hurry-up 2-minute drill stuff. And Jeremy Johnson and Sean White both either underthrew or overthrew on deep routes. John Franklin III never got a chance to throw deep. He just ran the offense as they saw fit, did some zone read stuff, but nothing to write home about, which I hate to say this, that's kind of what spring football is all about. They just
development
testing stuff. It's not about this is our lineup going into the season opener against Clemson in September. There's no way to know that in the spring right now.
And even going back, let's go back a couple of years where initially, even midway through spring, I think it was, but it was, Chad Slade isn't the first team right guard, or they're rotating guys in, and what's happening. Even last year with Alex Kozner saying, in and out, and what is as good as bad. And then a guy goes down, and it was the contingencies that were worked on in the spring ended up coming to fruition. So some of this is, testing of personnel, putting guys in different places, seeing where they can play, what are they capable of doing, and figuring that out, especially early on. And you're right, especially with quarterbacks. The young man's been on campus for only a couple of months. He's been in practice for only 3 days, one of which was in pads before today. To ask him to be a first-string quarterback immediately, that's unrealistic. It just doesn't happen.
As you mentioned on our Periscope we do, that, listen, Cam Newton came here in the spring of 2010, and he wasn't named a starter until, 10, 11 days after spring practice had concluded. So the guy that got the quickest name to be starter was Jeremy Johnson last year, and that was 2 days after A-Day and 1 day after their final practice, and we saw how that turned out. With that said, Jeremy Johnson and Sean White are going to get their fair opportunity to still be the starter. And
frankly, as they should.
Yes.
As they should. As any player who has put in that much time, especially as Jeremy has, performance aside for a moment, if they have done everything that is asked of them other than, yes, the performance aspect on Saturdays, and I can understand fans' aspect of that, but from a coaching standpoint, you want to say, what more could they have done to be in a position to play as much as possible and earn their opportunities? And if Jeremy Johnson and Sean White have done that, and by all means it seems to be that's the case, then, they're going to be ahead of somebody who's been here for all of 2 weeks thus far. That's just the way it is. That goes for any position. So,
now let's make our predictions for Clemson. James, I see this game anyway. So that's it. Make sure and visit AL.com for complete spring practice coverage. Don't read too much into who is with what unit. They're mixing and matching for a reason.